So the triggering headline in today's news is that all cars will have to have a monitor that monitors you, specifically your face, by 2027 for drowsiness or any reason that it might.
That's cute.
Yeah, it can automatically.
I was about to say my car does that now. I mean, they don't monitor. I mean, I guess they monitor like your face, like or whatever. But it's like, hey, you need a coffee or rest, and it's an icon of a coffee that pops on my dash.
Well, to be fair, a lot of cars have that technology now. You know, Graham works at BMW and always gets the latest and greatest. They've had it since forever. I mean, 2017.
I mean, they are German engineering. Let's remember that.
You have to look forward, or it won't self-drive with the ones he gets. You can type it in the navigation.
Well, that seems to kind of make sense, though. I mean,
yeah, it wants to see your eyes open and towards the road, or it's going to make all types of alerts.
In other words, it's hard to drunk drive now, or it will be.
Well, people are upset because it's taking your freedom. Now,
freedom to drunk drive if I choose to in an inebriated state, you're correct.
When I first moved to Houston, you could drive legally with an open container. That was 2006. And by 2008 or maybe 7, they had passed a law against it. But in 2006...
Well, can I be honest with you? I kind of get that just for the simple fact of it was weird to me. Like, all right, let's just say like, oh, I went to a place, we had a few drinks, whatever. I went to a buddy's house, bought like a bottle of liquor. We didn't finish it, so I put it in my car. Now, I could have stayed at my buddy's house, sober up, left, forgot about the bottle, because I was drunk.
You can skin that conversation any different way. Yeah, basically...
They would still throw it against me as an open container if they realized the seal was broken and it was in my car.
You could down the beer, get directly in your car and drive. What's the difference from that and drinking it while
I know.
you're
If
driving?
anything, they're just making you binge. You got to kill it.
That's the popular short reel today. People saying, don't buy a new car, only buy old cars. Hell, if they pass the laws, they'll make you retrofit it anyway.
Well, I mean, you have a cell phone, and the cell phones are only going to get more technologically advanced. So as long as you're willing to forfeit your freedom for your phone, it's going to integrate itself somehow into your phone. So don't worry. You can avoid it all you want. Oh, that was your thing? That was your... so you got it.
Todd,
you got it. Yeah,
I told Todd I knew what his reaction would be. He would say your cell phone's already monitoring everything. Yeah. And it is, but there's other monitoring devices. Your TV's listening to you.
Yeah, and you
obviously, if you have...
You're really splitting hairs. Like, I see the point of people be like, it's invasion of privacy is, I think, what they mean by giving up freedom. And that is a legit argument. But you kind of, without your direct consent... have given that up already.
Yeah, but it's getting to the point where even if you give no consent and don't carry a cell phone, the flock camera is still going to track where you're going.
Yeah.
Things like that. So it's getting to that point where, I don't know, some people think that's dystopian. I mean, it is weird.
Well, it's just it's just living in the technological world, man. Everything's got a camera, everything's got a screen, it seems. So, yeah,
and that's
the world's here to watch.
And definitely, that's why they need data centers to keep track of every freaking bit of data ever and compute it.
I think they should build them in space. I really would love.
Yeah, that will. There's one point. It is kind of a rub where politically the majority of people do not want data centers. Definitely not now. Not until we see the usefulness. We see that it's not going to harm an area or something. Basically, people think these things are bad. Sorry for trying to do both sides of that. What I'm saying is, as of right now, people fucking do not want them.
Yeah.
And their representatives in government know that. And yet, approval. So what are the representatives doing? They're going against.
They're not representing.
They're going, yeah.
They're not representing.
That's just facts.
Well, hey, they stand with me on abortion and or, equality. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to sacrifice this for...
Todd's bringing up where everybody votes based on, like...
their little D or the little R.
Yeah.
They vote by party, not by actual candidate and ideas and progression. It's just like... No one's happy with the status quo, so you got to get ready for some change. But at the same time, you got to be brave enough to change.
Well, Trump ran on let's eliminate fraud and waste and just overspending. Let's rein in the budget. Let's look at waste and shit. We brought in $5.2 trillion in this recent tax year that just happened. The budget's $7 trillion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's growing exponentially every month now at a faster rate.
It was a shot in the dark thinking maybe they'll rein it in. They didn't rein it in.
Can I just throw this out there? I think people, going back to the abortion or equality thing, people need to get over the whole trans issue. I just separate that from I think he got in honestly because Republicans in general in the past several election cycles have demonized trans people. And of course, most liberals and progressives don't.
I don't think it has much to do with it.
Well, see, a lot of people voted for or willing to take a risk on him out of fear because they didn't want, it was better than her. That was always the rationale.
There were some, Biden had some appointed officials that really got in not based on merit, but because they were trans or whatever.
Yeah,
you have to admit that. But it's identity politics, and I felt like identity politics was just kind of dying because I thought it had already boiled down to, but we're facing real issues, and we don't want that to be the platform. That's getting deplatformed because now real issues. Well, I guess we weren't quite to the ledge that I thought we were at, but I still think we're heading there. Pretty soon, abortion, no one's going to give a flying fuck, man. They need clean water. This is coming really soon.
When I talk about abortion, I'm mostly talking about the Southeast.
Yeah, but
the deep South.
But identity politics, no one cares because it's going to come down to I need clean water.
Yeah, well, it for right now, it's kind of like the new abortion. It's like, where do you stand? Kind of thing. At least they're not for the men trying to use the bathroom with girls. Because every pedophile I've ever heard has always been trans.
Well, that was a big key issue, who can use what restroom.
Yeah.
I admit that.
Here's the thing. If a woman looks like a dude and identifies as a woman, would you have an issue with it otherwise?
If a woman looks like a dude.
Or vice versa.
Well,
because I can show you a few examples from our high school.
The people that did have issue would still have issue.
Yeah.
And it is kind of weird to give the permission slip. So it's
Are you going to have an invasion of privacy where I got to show you my birth certificate before I take a leak? How about this? No one's watching anyone piss, to my knowledge, guy or girl, correct? What's the issue? That's why we have partitions.
Yeah, but by giving someone permission to be in there, people just don't like that.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to
think about this with the gun
sports.
argument. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyway, Rob.
Men and women's sports, that was a big thing.
Now, see, that is too. Now, that comes down to a biological thing.
Well, you don't want me boxing you and you be a lady.
Well, depending on how big the lady is.
Ain't gonna matter.
If she's got more bone density than I do, it doesn't matter how much estrogen and vagina she has.
Well, look at marathon times. Those aren't big burly people.
I never
could look at the result.
Yeah, I never could relate to fast people. So,
but
yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just there has to be some sort of comparison with the hormones. There has to be some sort of hormonal qualification. Because that's really what it comes down to, difference of the genders when it comes to competitiveness.
Well, there needs to be an even playing field. And one is you put in a lot of work and you were the best, but you still lost because someone had a different advantage.
And that's
the other is we got hurt because we got physically pushed around. And
that's where J.K. Rowling had an interesting argument, I thought. Now, I'm not going to comment whether I am on pro team or anti team J.K. Rowling, but I will say this. She said. She brought out with the perspective from this perspective of being a woman, everything women have been the first at doing, or anything they've progressed and done has now been minimalized, because now it's like an open club to anybody who feels like they're a woman, so to speak, and takes steps towards that. And I thought, man, that's an interesting argument. That's not like, oh, they're weird, or oh, I don't want them to watch me pee, or anything like that. That's like, that's an interesting perspective. I can't speak for a woman because I'm not one, but it's like she's saying, like, think of the first woman who, flew a plane or did that. That now minimizes it.
And that's surveillance state.
Oh, wow, yeah, we were talking about that.
With a strong highlight on the fact that data centers are being approved and built, even though people do not want them.
Well, it's all about
the local representative that stamps the approval.
It's all about
They were elected by people that don't want the data center.
What's it all about, Rob?
The deal's being greased. There's money going.
But what's it all about?
I don't have a good rap. Money.
The Benjamins.
Oh, yeah, the Benjamins.
The Benjamins. Making it rain.
In the TV show The Strain,
yeah,
I'm
not actually familiar with that.
Which is the bad guy, has a way of getting what he wants to via. One example, there's a cancer medicine the guy really needs for his wife. He can have it. They just need him to transport some stuff through the airport that he has access to. That's how this stuff's getting through. You're blackmailed or you're paid or whatever, but Benjamins,
the Benjamins, the C notes,
all
fat
about
stacks.
The Benjamins. Puff Daddy should be getting out of jail pretty soon. He's really...
Oh, how long was he sentenced for?
Not very long. It seems like he's going to serve 48 months or something.
Oh, what is that?
I mean, look it up, but it's not much.
Yeah, that's like 40. No, he's probably in the middle of it, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Like,
he's in, he's out. Someone may try to get him on something else once he's out. Go back in. I don't know.
I wonder if he's going to go back to rapping.
I've got to
think about it, man. He's got a new perspective now. He did some hard time, dude. I saw him. He's working the laundry room, man, folding them sheets, them sheets.
I've got an update on someone we cover a lot historically, which is Pete Davidson. His breakups and his movies and his tattoos and stuff,
and lack of tattoos now.
So he got them all removed, all of them.
Yeah.
And he had a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe a week ago, I saw him quote to some paparazzi that he just thought where he was at in life, he needed a clean slate. And I was like, that son of a bitch is going to re-tattoo himself now when he starts getting motivated different than the first time.
When people reach a certain plateau of success and they make finances, they like to splurge on things. I just want to point this out. I'm sure all those tattoos cost something all throughout his life. And then the more money he made, the more, I'm sure the money he had to spend on tattoos. And then, of course, getting them removed, I'm sure, is not some cheap
expensive
fee.
And painful and takes a long time. He got a new one today. In front of his ear is his kid's name.
Okay, well, see what I'm saying? He's got more money towards tattoos. Like Jay Leno buys cars, Pete Davidson buys tattoos.
I think he's going to reload. That's one, but they're going to follow.
You know what? You heard it here first, guys. Pete Davidson's going to get a second tattoo.
No, he's going to get a second body full of them.
Oh, so you're going for the whole... Yeah, so...
Pete, if you're listening, and we know you might be...
Staunton City Limits is a great thing to write on your enormous penis, or so the internet would lead me to believe.
Okay, I'm not going to finish my statement. And that's surveillance.
Yeah, I guess that was.
Here at the Tyler Anderson Harris School for Broadcast Journalism.
Wow, yeah,
We're just now learning what a monopsony is, and it plays into like a monopoly, except rather than looking at the consumer, it's looking at the worker.
Monopsony.
Play that one more time, Todd.
Monopsony.
Thanks. We have talked about this a bunch, or I've talked about this a bunch. Employers are acting as if they are the monopoly, and no matter which one you work for, they're all in cahoots via data sharing, via knowing what they can get away with, via keeping wages low, because there's not really enough true competition between them. But it's rigged. They don't want to compete.
And shrinking labors. Yeah.
They want to compete to get their product sold versus the same person that makes the same product. But when it comes to hiring,
I think before technology started and data sharing became a thing, think of like the example of a small town and a big employer moving in, like Walmart, let's say.
Let me give you one real quick. You and I want to buy a 5-gallon bucket. Do I want to compete with you just to prove that I paid more for that? Just keep bidding it up like an auction where you get caught versus someone else and you just run the fucker up. Yeah. No, I really don't want to pay that much for that bucket. So employers don't want to compete to pay the most. They want to compete kind of to pay the least. And with them all doing that, it's effective because where are you going to go?
Well, it's just they share the same strategy. It's like you won't bet me up and I won't bet you up.
Yeah, so where's the worker going to go? Yeah. They can leave their job, but the next place is going to be doing the same thing. I've been saying that. So did you have more on a monopsony?
Monopsony. Yes.
Read a little bit of that, because that was...
Monopsony.
Yes. A monopsony is a market structure with a single buyer, a monopsonist, dominating, often suppressing wages and prices due to lack of competition, causes lower wages, reduced employment, and lower purchasing costs for the buyer, often arising from geographical isolation, specialized skills, or limited alternative employers. I think the last one was the big key right there. If you can't work anywhere else, like in a small town or for a certain employer that offers something that you might need, like insurance, then you're kind of slave to that, unless you just pick up your life and move away. You're kind of slave to that employer.
That's not always easy to do.
No, and it's not. I mean, given circumstances, you might not even be an option financially.
Legally, you may not be able to move based on a custody agreement,
perhaps,
or something else. But yeah, it's if you do a certain type of work and there's only one place that hires for that, it might be tough to move. But if there's two places to hire for that, you may not be any better. When you finally get some competition, is you're just willing to move anywhere.
Here's something, another characteristic of monopsony, something I think that you can relate to. Yeah. High barriers to entry. It's difficult for other buyers to enter the market, preventing competition. You've mentioned before how, like, if you're a small business, it's now harder to get your business off the ground and actually competing than what it was 50, 60 years ago when these huge, giant, whale-sized conglomerates of businesses were just small businesses.
Well, I have some good ideas. I do a lot of different jobs, but I work in durable medical equipment. And the patient will say, why don't you be the guy that designs a lower profile boot so it doesn't put you on tilt, like it's taller and thicker than your shoe? Like, we need a sole that's reasonable. This thing's goofy. It's like, well, how am I going to compete? They make them by the hundreds of thousands in China. They pay $2 for the fucking thing. And I'm supposed to design something that's better, which I can, and somehow compete, which I can't.
It only takes a dream and a garage, apparently. And you got a garage, Rob. You got you got like a 3-bay garage. So, under Amazon's origin, you should have like a huge company in the next 20 years.
Well, if you got the very best product, for some things, you maybe could still sell it. For that, you're not. Because your doctor's the one peddling it, and they intend to make money because they only get paid a certain amount, and they want their margins to look really, really good. So it's kind of out. Now, if I wanted to build theater chairs that are heated, AC'd, recline, have heated and cooled cup holders, okay, now I'm starting to get exclusive enough that someone rich enough might just have to get it from me because it's nowhere else, and it is pretty damn cool.
Yeah. In other words, you're also selling kind of like a brand too. Like, this is what I offer. This is my chair.
It could double or triple the price because it
Easily.
becomes that exclusive.
Yeah,
but
well,
it is pretty cool.
I'm shopping for a mattress here in the near future, and Tempur-Pedic comes to mind. We all heard it, and they're very quality, but are they worth $5,000 for a queen size, Rob? That's a lot.
Debatably.
I mean, where's that price coming from? Other mattresses that claim they can do the same thing, they come up to $3,500, but $5,000. $1,500 difference is a big deal to me, man.
Well,
it makes me think, how much of that am I paying for the name?
When it comes to monopsony, we're not seasoned political scientists.
No,
but we
no.
are slightly aware.
We're definitely
we're on to you.
We're on the other end of the monopsonists. We're monopsonese. Yeah, I think that applies. But really, and the only way to break into like a something like the way Amazon and Microsoft did, to break into an industry and become like the big whale of the ocean, like they are, is basically technology creating a new branch of business. Like e-commerce was 25, 30 years ago. And that's the way AI is, why all these startups are, taking off. It's probably going to burst, but there's a lot that are probably going to survive, and some that are going to be as big as Microsoft and the new Amazon or whatever. And when it comes to AI,
a lot of AI companies and support companies will crash and burn, but the big ones are going to be hard to fight later on down the line.
They're gonna put up the barriers like e-commerce did.
If I wanted to sell like Amazon and I had the perfect warehouse, I still couldn't fulfill orders like them.
Yeah,
I don't have the technology to automate the process, and I don't have the preferred pricing with every freaking supplier, including UPS, FedEx, like whatever. I don't have.
Yeah, in other words, you don't have the network, the financial connection.
Can you imagine how cheap they get a roll of tape compared to what I would have to pay to seal a box up? I'd probably pay 4 times the price, which is a pretty big factor. It's not like a 10% increase. Like, they're getting it cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, they pretty much own the. Well, I think Walmart just recently dethroned them, but
going back to what I was talking about, where it's harder to start a business, there's certain red tape that used not to exist.
Yeah.
If you want to start an automotive shop in 1940, you have a place to do it. You put a sign out front and you see who shows up. Now, the fire inspector has to come. He has to look at your oil storage. That's a flammable substance. They have to look at your drainage system and make sure you're not contaminating anything. And, okay, that's all for safety's sake. Yeah. Also, there's only one door out of a big square building, but you need it lit with the exit sign, even though no one could miss it, possibly.
Well,
or there's 4. There's
someone
one on
could.
There's one on each wall.
Well, I'm going to put it this way. You have
the
windows
easiest building to get out of, possibly.
Well, wait, you have windows, too.
Why don't those need an exit sign?
Because those aren't the exit. But I can mistake it as an exit because I see, it's transparent.
But they do have to be big enough to be egress windows in case you must use them as an exit.
No, some people would just fucking do it. I have no faith in humanity at all.
And on and on and on.
You know how many people I've seen walk into a sliding door that for whatever reason didn't slide? It's like, seriously? Like, how close do you have to get before you're like, this isn't happening, I should probably stop?
In that same business, if I knew how to wire everything up as an electrician and even knew the code, knew it or didn't, I used to be able to do it. Now, even if I'm an electrician as my full-time job, I got to pull the permits, I got to get inspected, and it has to be just fucking so. Safety, I guess?
Well,
I want to sell oil to my customer. You think I can get it as cheap as Jiffy Lube? Fuck no. I mean, it's hard to enter.
I was about to say,
It's
like,
not
how
that
would
red
you?
tape. Well, think about healthcare. What do you think it used to take to be a nurse? You just said, I want to do this type of work, and you worked at the hospital until they considered you a nurse.
Yeah.
Like you're really good at it and you kind of rose to the top.
You put up with all the shit.
You could manage the floor and never have gone to school for it because you were just really good at it.
Yeah. In other words, that's called experience. And it's kind of like you build up years of experience, and it kind of makes it seem fitting you should eventually run the place.
Hey, okay. Well, we need nurses that are trained, right? That makes sense. Yeah, but how about all these extra classes they added to the curriculum just because the school is a business? They know it's a popular program, and so every year they sneak a couple more credit hours, and all of a sudden a 2-year degree, quote, takes 4 years.
Yeah.
It's you might as well go get your bachelor's because that 2-year degree, they made it a fat one. And now it's going to take you 3.5 or 4. It's probably going to take you 4 years.
I was about to say, I've always heard 4 years, but if it could be 2, why wouldn't there be like community colleges or trade schools offering programs like that? Do they just want to get in on the piece of the pie there?
Well,
does Staunton Tech want to give in on the piece of the pie?
You got to be, quote, accredited.
So you got to play their game.
Yeah, there's what makes you accredited.
Staunton Tech. The Staunton Tech Cows used to be my favorite team. They've gone down a notch. Now I know they're running a little bit of an educational racket.
So I have not articulated all of my points that freaking well, but something to think about regardless.
By the way, go Cows. Start of the football season this year. They're really pumped. Trying to beat last year's record, which would be just finishing the season. They didn't finish the season yet last year.